In this video, we're going to go over factoring and solving quadratics. If you need a reminder, a quadratic expression or equation is one that looks like this in standard form. It should be written as ax squared plus bx plus c. My tip is I look for this x squared. So in our problem here, we have solve for x in x squared plus 3x minus 28. There's two strategies to do this. I'm going to start off because in front of our x squared, I don't see any number, which really means that there's a 1. Because there's a 1 there, I'm going to look at our middle two terms. So that means I'm going to look here at the plus 3 and at the minus 28. I'm going to look for two values that add up to plus 3 and that multiply to negative 28. I like to write this out for myself on the side over here. So two numbers that will add to 3 and two numbers that will multiply to negative 28. And it has to be the same exact two numbers. When you have this, I like to start with the number that you are multiplying to. And I'll list out the factors of 28. So here's my factor list. I'm going to start with 1 times 28. If you're not sure about what the factors are, that's why I have my calculator up over here. You can start with your first value and then divide by each factor, right? So if I divide and I get a whole number, that means that both of those numbers are factors of 28. So 28 divided by 2 is 14. So I can write 2 times 14. I don't know if 3 goes in, so I can do 28 divided by 3. That's not a whole number, so it doesn't work. And I can keep going down the list. 28 divided by 4 is 7, so I can do 4 times 7. I know that 5 is not going to work because it doesn't end in a 0 or a 5. I'll keep going with 6. And then that means my list is done because 28 divided by 7 is going to give me 4, and that means I'm going to have a repeat. So even though I know that I'm looking to get a negative 28, that means that one of these numbers, so either one of these numbers here or one of these numbers here has to be negative. But now I'm going to look for which combination of these numbers could add up to give me a 3. And that's going to be this set here of 4 and 7. So when I fill these numbers in, right now I know that one of them has to be negative in order to get to negative 28. And also, I know that 4 plus 7 doesn't give me 3. So if I think about what order does this need to go in and which one of these numbers has to be negative, you can try them out. I'm going to try out here with a negative 4. And to double check, I'm going to do negative 4 plus 7. That gets me 3, right? So I know that that's the order. So now I'm going to go ahead and factor this. So I have, factoring means I'm going to break it down into x minus 4 times x plus 7 equals 0. Also a reminder that if you don't have this equals 0, you can always write it in. So that was the first step. If my problem only asked me to factor, I would be done at this step. X minus 4 and x plus 7 are both factors of this expression. But because it asked me to solve, my next step is now to set each one of these factors equal to 0. So x minus 4 equal to 0 and x plus 7 equal to 0. The reason for that is that I want to see what value of x would make one of these factors equal to 0, because if it's being multiplied, then the entire expression would be equal to 0. So here I'm going to solve this using inverse operations. So I'm going to do plus 4 on both sides. And I'm going to end up with x is equal to 4. On the other side, I'm going to subtract 7 on both sides of my equal sign. And I end up with x equals negative 7. So here are my two solutions for x for a quadratic form, for this quadratic equation. Normally you'll have either 0, 1, or 2 solutions for a quadratic in Algebra 1. And as a reminder, if this number here is not 1, or if these numbers don't easily set up, like if I can't find the factors easily, you can always use quadratic formula. And there is a second video on that you can watch if you need to use that strategy. Good luck.